Welcome back to my channel, Valuable Rare Coins. If you love discovering hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. First, we'll uncover some of the most valuable and rare US coins that could be worth a fortune. Let's dive in. We're shining a spotlight on the 1944 D-Wheat penny. That's right, the 1-cent coin minted in Denver during one of the most pivotal years in world history. Stay with us because by the end of this video, you'll see why this little copper coin could be worth more than your car, your house, or even your college tuition. Let's go back to 1944. The world was at war. American soldiers were storming the beaches of Normandy. Rosie the Riveter was inspiring women across the country, and everything, even coins, was being made with a purpose. During wartime, materials like steel and copper were being tightly controlled. In fact, just the year before, in 1943, the U.S. Mint switched to using zinc-coated steel for pennies to save copper for ammunition and war supplies. But in 1944, things changed again. The Mint returned to copper, using melted-down shell casings left over from the war effort. That means the pennies from that year are not just currency. They're a part of World War II history. Each one carries the story of sacrifice, of patriotism, and of the American spirit. Now, what makes the 1944 D penny especially interesting is the mint mark, the little d under the date, that tells us it was made in Denver. Over 400 million of these coins were produced, making it seem like they should be common and not very valuable. But here's the twist. While many were made, most were heavily circulated, used in everyday transactions, worn down by time, and forgotten in drawers or lost entirely, but a very small number survived in perfect or near-perfect condition. And even fewer include something else, minting errors. These are accidental imperfections made during the coin's production, and they're pure gold to collectors. We're talking about things like double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional metal mistakes. And in some extremely rare cases, a 1944 D penny was mistakenly struck on a steel planchet left over from the year before. That kind of mint error? That's the dream. Imagine this. A coin that looks like every other penny to the untrained eye, but has a flaw that turns it into a collector's treasure. These are the coins that don't just go into books or displays, they go to major auctions, fetching prices that few people could ever imagine for something so small. Now let's talk about the design for a moment. On the front, we have Abraham Lincoln, the nation's beloved 16th president. His profile is simple, strong, and dignified, capturing the American values of perseverance and unity. On the back, those iconic wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. The wheat symbolizes growth, prosperity, and hard work, fitting for a coin born in a time of global conflict and national resilience. But don't let the simple design fool you. The real magic of the 1944 D penny lies in what it represents and what it could be worth today. So, why are collectors and dealers so obsessed with this coin? It comes down to 3 things: condition, rarity, and story. A well-preserved 1944 D-Wheat penny in mint state condition can already command serious attention. But if it includes an error or is certified at the highest possible grade by professional grading services, its value multiplies dramatically. Now, you might be thinking, come on, how valuable can a penny really be? Well, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One single 1944 D-Wheat penny, preserved in extraordinary condition with a rare error, was sold for $380,000. That's right. Not 38. Not 3,000. We're talking $380,000 for a coin that many people wouldn't look at twice if they found it on the sidewalk. So what can you do? Check your change. Look through that old coffee tin in the attic. Go through the rolls of pennies from the bank or your grandparents' coin jar. You never know what's hiding in there. The next big discovery could be right under your nose, and it might just change your life. Second rare coin, we're taking a closer look at a small coin with a big story, the 1950 D-Wheat penny from the United States. It's easy to dismiss this little copper coin as just another old penny, but there's more here than meets the eye. In fact, one of these coins was sold for an amount that could literally change someone's life. Stick with me because by the end of this video, I'm going to reveal the shocking value this tiny cent reached, and trust me, it's going to blow your mind. Let's take a journey back in time. The year is 1950. America is rebuilding after World War II, the baby boom is in full swing, and the country is transitioning into an era of economic expansion and prosperity. Television sets were just starting to appear in households, cars had that classic chrome design, and a loaf of bread cost just 14 cents. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint in Denver was quietly producing millions of copper pennies as part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, one of the most iconic coin series in American history. And among those, the humble 1950 D-Wheat penny was born. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a coin that had over 334 million pieces minted? It's a fair question. But in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about how many were made, it's about how many survived in exceptional condition, and whether any of them carry a unique story or an error that makes them truly one of a kind. The Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, features Abraham Lincoln on the front, designed by Victor David Brenner, and two stylized wheat ears on the back, which gave the coin its nickname. These coins represent a key chapter in America's monetary history and are beloved by collectors around the world. But even in such a widely circulated series, there are hidden gems, coins that seem ordinary but turn out to be incredibly valuable. The 1950 D is one such coin. While the vast majority of them went straight into circulation and suffered the wear and tear of everyday use, a handful were set aside, some by forward-thinking collectors, others simply forgotten in rolls or tucked into drawers. Over time, these untouched coins became rarities, and here's where things get exciting. What collectors prize most is condition. A coin that has never been circulated, that still shines with its original red copper luster and shows every detail of its design sharply, is considered a numismatic treasure. These are referred to as mint state or uncirculated coins, and they're the holy grail for collectors. But there's more. Some of these coins have minting errors like double die obverse, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment in the minting process, or repunched mint marks, where the small d under the date was struck more than once. These tiny imperfections make the coin even more desirable because they're rare and often unique. Imagine this: a coin no larger than a dime, made out of copper, sitting unnoticed in a box for decades, suddenly turning out to be a star at a coin auction. It's happened before, and the story of the 1950 D is proof of that. Collectors aren't just interested in age or rarity. They care about the story a coin tells, the condition it's in, and whether it stands out from the millions of others that were minted. And the 1950 D-Wheat penny checks all those boxes, especially if it's in pristine condition or includes a recognized mint error. Now let's talk numbers. Most circulated 1950 D pennies, the kind you might find in a junk drawer or old coin jar, are worth a few cents to a few dollars, depending on where. Not bad for a penny, but nothing too surprising. But when you take a 1950 D that's never been used, with perfect surfaces, vibrant color, and perhaps a striking error, its value can skyrocket. In fact, some of these coins have been professionally graded and authenticated, and their sale prices have reached levels you simply wouldn't believe. So, how much could one of these coins actually be worth? Well, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. One of these beautiful, uncirculated 1950 D-Wheat pennies, preserved in top condition with a rare error, was sold for an absolutely jaw-dropping amount. That little copper coin sold for $300,000. Yes, a 1-cent coin, sold for more than what most people spend on a home. It's a reminder that history isn't just found in museums, it's hiding in your pockets, drawers, and old family boxes. So, what should you do next? Simple. Check your change, look through old coin rolls, ask your relatives if they've got any forgotten jars of coins lying around. You never know, one of those might just be a treasure in disguise. Third expensive coin, we're taking a closer look at a simple copper coin that could secretly be a hidden fortune in your hands, the 1950 one-wheat penny. Don't let the size fool you. This humble 1-cent piece may be far more valuable than you could ever imagine. This isn't just a video about a coin, it's about American history, rarity, and a collector's dream. Stick with me to the end, because you'll be shocked to learn what a single 1951 wheat penny could be worth today. Let's rewind the clock to the early 1950s. America was in the midst of a post-war boom. The Second World War had ended a few years earlier, and the United States was now flexing its economic power, launching into a new era of growth and prosperity. It was a time of optimism, innovation, and progress. And in the middle of all this, the U.S. Mint continued its long-standing production of the Lincoln Wheat Cent, one of the most iconic coins in American history. The 1951 wheat penny might look like just another copper coin, but it tells a much deeper story. This penny was part of everyday life in mid-century America. It jingled in the pockets of factory workers, teachers, milkmen, and soldiers. It bought bubble gum, comic books, and coffee. And over time, most of these coins were spent, lost, scratched, and worn down from decades of circulation. The design is familiar and comforting. On the obverse, we see the bust of President Abraham Lincoln, stoic, proud, a symbol of unity and perseverance. He had already graced the front of the penny since 1909, the first real person ever depicted on a U.S. coin. On the reverse side, we have two elegant wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This simple but bold design is what gives the coin its nickname, the wheat penny. Now here's where it gets interesting. While the U.S. Mint produced over 1 billion 1-cent coins in 1951 across its 3 facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only a small number of these coins have survived in perfect condition. And it's that condition, along with a few other factors, that can turn a common penny into a collector's treasure. You see, the value of a coin isn't just in its age or design. It's in how well it's been preserved. Coins that are still in mint condition, no scratches, no marks, and full of original red luster, are extremely rare. These are known as uncirculated coins, and they are highly prized by collectors. But there's more to the story. Some 1951 wheat pennies have been found with rare minting errors, like off-center strikes, double dies, or repunched mint marks. These mistakes happen during the minting process and are incredibly valuable because they're so unusual. And while errors like these might go unnoticed by most people, serious collectors and dealers know just how significant they can be. Imagine finding a 1951 penny in a forgotten coin jar or tucked away in a drawer. That just so happens to be one of these rare varieties, or even just in brilliant uncirculated condition. That little penny could be the key to something truly life-changing. It's also worth noting that not all 1951 wheat pennies are created equal. The location of the mint, identified by the tiny letter under the date, can also influence value. D stands for Denver, S for San Francisco, and no letter means it was minted in Philadelphia. Certain mint marks, combined with rare conditions or minting errors, push the value even higher. SO. The question on everyone's mind is, just how much could one of these pennies really be worth? Well, let me paint the picture for you. In the world of numismatics, the study and collection of coins, a coin's value is a blend of rarity, demand, condition, and historical significance. And while most 1951 pennies in average condition may only be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars, some have fetched prices that defy belief. Here comes the jaw-dropping part. Point 1. Exceptional 1951 wheat penny, flawless in appearance, gleaming with its original copper brilliance, and featuring a rare minting error, was once sold for the staggering amount of $300,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin most people wouldn't look at twice turned out to be worth $300,000. That's the kind of story that keeps collectors on the hunt, sifting through old rolls, estate sales, and dusty boxes in the hope of finding the next big discovery. Oh, what does this mean for you? It means opportunity. It means checking every penny. It means digging through old coin jars, asking your grandparents about the change they've kept for decades, and looking at each coin not just as currency, but as a potential piece of history with hidden value. Especially, we're digging into one of the most overlooked yet surprisingly valuable coins in American history, the 1954 D-Wheat penny. Now you might be thinking, it's just a penny. But stay with me, because what you're about to learn might just make you check your pocket change with a whole new level of excitement. You see, there's something incredibly powerful about old coins. They're more than just money. They're pieces of history that carry the stories of generations. And the 1954 D-Wheat penny is no exception. This tiny copper coin may have been worth just 1 cent when it was made, but in the world of coin collecting, value isn't measured by face value. It's measured by rarity, condition, and the secrets a coin might hold. Let's set the scene. The year is 1954. The Korean War has just ended, the US economy is booming, and families are buying their first televisions. Rock and roll is starting to shake up American culture, and the baby boom generation is in full swing. Meanwhile, at the Denver Mint, millions of humble copper pennies were being struck, pennies that would quietly find their way into soda machines, school lunchrooms, and the front counters of corner stores. Among them, the 1954 D-Wheat penny was born. It features the classic Lincoln portrait on the obverse, his gaze steady, wise, and symbolic of American strength. On the reverse, the familiar wheat ears frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's a clean, simple design, but it speaks volumes. This coin wasn't just currency, it was a daily part of life in post-war America. Now, while over 250 million of these 1954 D-pennies were minted, that doesn't mean they're all created equal. Far from it. In fact, very few of these coins still exist in pristine condition. And it's this rarity, combined with condition and a few incredible surprises, that can turn a penny into something far more valuable. So, what exactly makes the 1954 D-Wheat penny special? First, let's talk about condition. Coins are graded based on their wear, color, luster, and sharpness of detail. A 1954 D-penny that's been jingling around in pockets and drawers for decades may be worth only a little more than its face value. But a coin that was preserved, untouched by time, with its original reddish glow and no signs of circulation, that's a different story entirely. Collectors hunt for these gems, and the fewer that exist, the higher the demand. But that's not all. Some rare 1954 D-pennies come with minting errors, accidental misstrikes, double dies, off-center designs, or even transitional planchets. These errors are like typos in a historical document. They're rare, they weren't supposed to happen, and that makes them incredibly valuable. Some collectors dedicate their entire careers to finding these anomalies. Now imagine this. Someone stumbles across a box of old coins, inherited from a relative or hidden in an attic, and tucked away inside is a shiny 1954 D-Wheat penny. At first glance, it might seem like nothing more than a nostalgic piece of copper. But upon closer inspection, the coin is in near-perfect condition. The details are crisp. The luster is strong. There's no wear. And there, just below the date, is that little D mint mark from Denver, making it one of the most desirable versions of the 1954 wheat penny. This is the kind of coin that doesn't just go into a collection, it goes to an auction. And at the right time, in front of the right bidder, that unassuming penny can spark a bidding war that takes it to incredible heights. Let me ask you, have you checked your change lately? Have you gone through that jar of old coins sitting in the back of your closet? Because the next great discovery could be sitting right there, quietly waiting for someone who knows what to look for. Now, you've stayed with me through the history, the design, the rarity, and the collector insight. So, let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the value. A 1954 D-Wheat penny in flawless, uncirculated condition, possibly with a rare mint error, was once sold for the jaw-dropping amount of $270,000. Yes. That's not a misstatement. That's a real price paid by a serious collector who recognized the coin's rarity, beauty and historical significance. Before you dismiss that old penny as worthless, take a closer look. Because in the world of numismatics, even the smallest coins can carry the biggest surprises. If you found this video fascinating, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin stories, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a chance to discover the next hidden gem. Share this video with your friends and family. You never know who might be sitting on a coin that could change their life. Last unique coin, we're unlocking the story behind a simple yet powerful piece of American history, the 1957 D-Wheat penny. Don't be fooled by its size or its value printed right on the front. This 1-cent coin could be the key to an unexpected treasure hiding in your pocket, an old jar, or even a forgotten drawer. This video will take you on a journey through time, explain why the 1957 D-Wheat penny is so special, and reveal just how much this little copper coin could actually be worth today. Trust me, you'll want to stick around until the very end for the jaw-dropping number. Let's rewind to the year 1957. It was a time of booming prosperity in America. The post-World War II economy was strong, the suburbs were expanding, Elvis Presley was shaking up the radio, and Americans were dreaming about space travel. It was also the last few years of the iconic wheat penny era, a design that had been in circulation since 1909. Among the billions of coins minted that year, the Denver Mint was busy producing the 1957 D-Wheat penny. At first glance, this coin might look like every other penny from that era. But when you really examine it, its design, its condition, its story, you'll realize just how special it can be. Let's talk about the design for a moment. On the front, you'll find the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a powerful image that has been used for over a century. His portrait was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate his 100th birthday, and it quickly became one of the most recognized coin designs in the world. Flip it over and you'll see the simple but beautiful wheat stalks on either side of the words 1 cent and United States of America. This design was a tribute to American agriculture and hard work. Now, the D mint mark below the date tells us this particular coin was struck in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint was one of the primary producers of U.S. coinage, and in 1957 alone, it produced hundreds of millions of these pennies. But here's the thing, not all of them were treated equally after they left the mint. Many of these coins went into circulation right away. They were passed through hands, dropped into vending machines, thrown into piggy banks, and tossed into drawers. Over time, they were scratched, worn, and weathered by decades of use. But a very small number, just a handful, were kept in pristine condition, untouched, stored carefully, and preserved for generations, and that's where the magic begins. You see, collectors don't just look at age, they look at condition. A 1957 D-Wheat penny in poor shape may be worth a few cents. But one in uncirculated, mint-state condition? That's a whole different story. These coins shine with their original copper luster. Their details are sharp. The lines are crisp. No scratches, no discoloration, no blemishes. They're rare, and collectors love them, but it gets even more interesting when we talk about mint errors. Some 1957 D-Wheat pennies were produced with fascinating mistakes: double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or planchet flaws. These errors happened during the minting process and were never meant to be released. That's what makes them so valuable. They're the unicorns of the coin world. Error coins are rare. Mint-state coins are rare. But a 1957 D-Wheat penny that combines both? That's the kind of coin that makes headlines in auctions and sets collectors buzzing with excitement. Just imagine this. You're cleaning out a family storage box, going through old coin jars, and you come across a shiny penny dated 1957 with a D below the year. It looks sharp, clean, maybe even a little too perfect. What if that penny turns out to be one of those ultra-rare examples? What if it's been sitting there, quietly waiting to be discovered, while its value has skyrocketed over the decades? These stories aren't just fantasy, they've happened before. And the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors, dealers, and coin enthusiasts searching. So, what is a perfect 1957 D wheat penny really worth today? Well, for most circulated examples, you might get a few cents or a couple of dollars. But for the rarest specimens, those in absolutely flawless condition, with powerful mint errors and full red luster preserved from the day they were minted, the market demand is massive. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. Are you ready? A 1957 D wheat penny, in extraordinary condition and with a rare mint error, once fetched a staggering $199,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth a single cent when it was made is now valued at nearly $200,000 by today's collectors. So, the next time you come across an old penny, don't toss it aside. Take a moment. Look at the date. Look for that tiny D. Examine its shine. Because sometimes the smallest coin can carry the biggest value and the greatest story. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the unexpected value of everyday money, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell so you never miss a discovery. Share this video, you might help someone realize they're sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy collecting, and may your next penny be the one that changes everything.